Hey guys, we are here for another episode, another week getting started. So listen, today we have an action-packed episode. I have two dynamic guys that you are going to want to hear their story. So before we get too deep into that, for those of you who are just listening to our episodes for the very first time, I'm your host, Dr. Anissa Ferguson, and this is the Stay Out Your Lane podcast, where we encourage you to do just that, to stay out your lane and instead command your life's highway. All right, so with that, again, let me just remind you guys who are new or those who are returning a little bit about our show and exactly what you can expect each and every week. So stay out your lane. There are 4 things that you can always anticipate every single week because we want to make sure that we're bringing you the very best every single time, right? So S, stories. You're going to get stories every single week, and not just of success, but also of those struggles that people go through, because this is a real show and we're real people, and we want to make sure that you're getting the whole picture, not just what looks good. Second, you're always going to get an opportunity to have an actionable to-do. So what is an actionable to-do? That's where you take all of this conversation, because I tell you guys every single week, I'm not a motivational speaker, but I do put you to work. I can encourage you here and there, but I want to make sure that you're actually doing the work. So every week you're going to get an actionable to-do. Third, we're going to actually put you in a position where you can yield to the greatness that we know and that you also know is already inside of you. Last but not least, leverage. That's what we talk about, staying out your lane, using the skills and the talents and all the things that you already have to get from where you are to that place that you want to go. So sit tight. I'm going to bring on some dynamic guys that I just know you guys are going to love. Let me pull them up really, really quickly for you guys. Well, at least we got one gentleman in the room. I think he's coming on now. I want you guys to meet Mr. Christopher Stewart. How are you?
Good.
Good. I'm excited to have you. Yes. Let me see if I can also get Justin up as well, so we can invite you guys to our show, because people need to see you all. Let me see if I can make this a little bit better. All right, there we go. Perfect. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Am I on?
I'm so excited to have you guys. Listen, I know people are going to be catching us on the replay because it's Memorial Weekend. So people are fully live. I'm surprised that you guys are together with your palm trees.
Hey, let me we're gonna mute one of his mute the mic over here.
All right. Have a little technical issue. Hey, Victoria. Thank you for joining. I know you're friends with our guests, so thank you so much for taking your time out to join us on the podcast today. Really quickly, guys, while you guys are getting situated, let us know. First of all, I'm really jealous because I see palm trees in the background, and I don't think that's fair. How y'all gonna do that? It was like a tornado in DC, like maybe an hour ago. Seriously.
Yeah?
Yes. So I'm really feeling it right now.
I know. I just flew in from Boston actually today, and it was a little cold this morning, so I had to change the forecast.
Wow.
A little sunny palm trees.
I'm still getting a little bit of background noise, but I hear you loud and clear. So.
All right. Well, yeah. If it gets too bad, we can put it inside. So I'm just making sure I'm clear because I'm on this bottom screen, right? You guys see me okay?
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Maybe we'll just share the camera just so we can have a clear visual.
Yeah. No problem.
All right, cool.
All right, so let's see. No, that's Justin there. I'm trying to get you guys. Okay, here we go. Justin and all right. So primarily one of the two of you guys. But okay, so let's just go ahead and get into it, right? Because the fact that you are just telling me that you're just flew out of Boston, which I know that you're in Boston, and Justin, you are all the way down in Florida. First of all, I'm just over the top because I know what you guys do like every day. Like you're flying here, you're flying. Every time I see you in Jamaica, you're in Utah. Where were you guys the other day? I was talking to you. You're all over the place. But you're running a fantastic business all up and down the East Coast, right?
Yes. Literally.
I know, like literally. And so today, we're going to talk all about your business. We're going to unpack everything that you guys are doing, which is amazing, and I'm excited. But today, we're going to be talking primarily about partnerships and how that looks, because clearly, it takes a lot sometimes just to do your own thing. But to be able to work with somebody else and really just bring it home, I mean, that takes a lot of trust. Yes?
Yeah. You want to start?
Yeah. So
yeah.
It's funny that you bring up the partnerships, because me and him never been like, oh, let's be partners, let's get into business together. That's just never how it was. Like, we're family, and we're people that love business. And what happened is that, as I do some business deals, he does some deals. We kind of came together and be like, oh, let's do a couple of these deals too. It wasn't. We don't have no partnership agreement. It's really nothing like that. And I don't even necessarily recommend for people to do it this way. It's just,
right.
I think the best partners are not necessarily friends, family, but people that are just always on the same page with things. There's values about Chris that I like him being my cousin, but there are also values about him being just a person as well. Given the fact that he always does what he says he's going to do, however he feels, he lets me know, and I can trust him. And when I mean I can trust him, I can trust him to be honest with himself. Because I think the biggest problem with partnerships is there's a lot of hidden agendas going on with themselves, people, and all this other stuff going on, and everything comes out eventually when you get into business, because at the end of the day, the dollars aren't adding up, or people's visions aren't adding up, and then you start to see why, because they didn't say something that they were feeling this whole time. Luckily, me and Chris aren't like that. We kind of speak our mind, and we're not really sensitive to hurting each other's feelings. I think that's a big deal.
Well, you said a whole lot right there, Justin. Let me go back, because there were a lot of things that you touched on. And one was the fact that you guys are family. And typically what we hear a lot of times is people will say, oh, you most definitely should not do business with your family, because it's not going to work out. They even say the same thing for really close friends. Like, it starts off great, but it doesn't last, or it doesn't work. So can you tell us how long you guys have been in business together, first of all?
I think it started with the very first company, the carpet cleaning. And so that would be 2008.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So that's 11 years.
Yeah. Going on 11 years.
And you did all of this with no agreements.
Yeah. Like he said, it's not something I recommend, but we share the same qualities. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like partners. I'm a very tough individual to deal with. I'm demanding.
Don't say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Really?
I'm really not even a people's person, to be honest with you. But I
know that's a lie.
We just vibe and we get it.
For those who are listening in, just know that that's a whole entire lie, because both of them are amazing, amazing guys. And when you meet them, hopefully, at some point you guys will be able to meet them. But seriously, like, you guys are so humble. First of all, and I didn't even get a chance outside of what we posted and marketed about this particular episode, is that you two have a company that you both have your own separate companies. We'll unpack that a little bit too.
Yeah.
But you are operating a 75 plus, and I'm gonna ask you the specific number in a little bit, because you guys keep growing. Every time I turn around, you get new property. But 75 plus units Airbnb business. Am I lying, or am I telling the truth? Just
75 plus. That's mostly this guy right here.
I know, but you guys work together. I mean, you guys are working together. I mean, I talked to you last week, and you were in Montego Bay.
Yeah, I was in Jamaica. I was looking at. I was looking at something. I was looking at something.
Looking at something. Yeah, okay, I'm putting all your business out there. I'm sorry. That's what we do. That's what we do on podcasts.
I put it out there. Yeah.
So to clarify, the whole business partnership and us working together, he manages the 75 plus, units with the Airbnb, and he kind of got me into looking at some Airbnbs, and through the help of him, and where I met you at Maddie's seminar, I acquired some Airbnbs myself, and that was pretty much the beginning of us doing every single day partnership type of stuff. Meanwhile, when I first got with him, I had a carpet cleaning. I still have a carpet cleaning company, and he came down and worked with me. And so that's why he said since '08 we've been working together.
Yeah.
But just as of recently, since his cleaning business has become so successful, and since some of my business has become so successful, we've actually decided to be like, hey, we got an opportunity. Why don't we go in? We'll split it up, divvy it up, and we start working together. And even though we work together every single day in the sense of he's my cousin, he gives me advice, I'm his cousin, I give him advice, and we both help each other grow our businesses. But legitly on paper, we got about we got about 3 or 4 projects that we're actually working together with.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really powerful, because you're both able to keep like the anonymity of your own businesses, because Justin, you have Laguerre Inc. and Chris, you have holiday cleaning services, right?
Yeah, that's where it started.
Did it start literally around the holidays and it just like popped off, or what?
It actually did, yeah.
Did it really?
Formally opened it in December 2013. The actual cleaning company. That's where it all started. Then it skyrocketed from there.
Yeah.
Well, clearly it skyrocketed, because 2013 to 2019, I don't take too much of a scholar, in 6 years to amass the type of properties that you guys have amassed, that's like phenomenal. So I just want to give it up for you guys. If you guys are in the chat, first of all, I want to thank you all for being here and listening in on the episode this week. Go ahead and just drop a 1 down there for the success for these gentlemen, because this is what they're doing. Yeah, seriously, this is a model that a lot of people can actually turn around and do, right? Because Airbnb is everywhere.
Yeah.
And we also know, because you and I we've worked on some things with, or heard about some stuff with Turo. And so we know that the car industry is out there. Is that something you guys are looking to move into, or not without me jumping too far ahead? But I'm just curious as to what's sort of next on the agenda as you continue to amass these properties.
Yeah, Turo is definitely a direction that we were thinking about going in. I recently started a trucking company a couple of days ago. I'm going to see where that goes.
A couple of days ago?
Yeah,
wow.
A couple of days ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I haven't put it on the road yet, but I got it sitting in my driveway ready to start picking up some loads and taking them across state. But Turo is definitely on the radar. But one thing I wanted to do is for anybody listening and anybody wanting to get into business or in business, one thing that me and Chris are passionate about is mentorships, and really kind of letting people know what it takes to start a successful business from beginning to end, and what you're going to need to look out for. And I'm not just talking about the, money aspect or even partnership aspect. I'm talking about what you need to look out for from yourself. What are you going to be thinking? How are you going to be feeling? And is this normal? I want to really kind of give your audience a taste of what it's like to deal with business at a high level.
Yeah, I think you got to dig deep.
That's awesome. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I think first and foremost, the entrepreneurship word gets thrown around a lot these days. It's a trend, right? But to touch on what Justin's saying, I think before you even do anything, you start out, you really got to dig deep and look within yourself first and foremost. And it's gut wrenching. When you start this up, you're gonna find out a lot of things about yourself, good and bad.
Yeah. Well, let's go there. Then let's go there, because the title of today's episode is Partnerships, Compromise, Calendars, and the Coin. So in the next 45 minutes or so, I really want to make sure that we touch on every single piece of that, because the people that are watching, they can get so much from both of you. And we're probably going to have to bring both of you back separately so that you can talk about your different businesses. I know we talked about that before. Right. But I'm really excited about this partnership piece and talking about compromise. So let's start there. In what instances have you both had to compromise? Because clearly, he has great skies and palm trees behind him. So it's just a natural fact to go to Florida, right? When it's time for business meetings. But when have you guys had to really sit down and compromise on something where both of you may have had opposing opinions about something with the business, whether it's Airbnb or travel or working with someone or picking up a particular different type of business or whatever it is? How have you guys resolved it? How have you handled it, and how have you worked through it?
Yeah, it's interesting that you make mention of it. And I don't know if Chris knows this, but we have a word. We have a word that or a phrase that we use, and when it comes to compromise, that we've never spoke about until today. And I'm going to see if he recognizes
firsthand. Okay, yeah. Bring it.
I might want to do something or might want to keep something a certain way, and he might want to change it. And what he says is, it make me feel better. It'll make me feel better. And it's like, you know what? If it makes you feel better, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's really where we compromise. And so when I want something changed, I'm like, look, Chris, it made me feel better if we just spend the money on this, or we just kept this how it is. Like,
so okay, is it compromise or is it caving in?
What was that?
Is it compromise or are you just straight caving in?
I say it's compromise.
I'm being messy.
I say it's compromise. Messy.
Yeah, I say it's compromise, and I'll say this, man. The biggest deal when it comes to working with somebody that your family and you care about is that the business can go belly up as long as we remain, our relationship and core remains tight.
Yeah.
So I think that before I would ever screw him over, he would ever screw me over, I would let him have whatever he wants, and the same thing for me. That's why I don't think it could ever fail.
Right.
There's no decision where it's just like, well, okay, there's no stalemate. It's just like, okay, well, if that's what you want, then you can have it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I care about you much more than this money, and that's why when it comes to partnerships, it's hard to give advice for people that don't have that type of relationship. I think that if our listeners want to get into a partnership with somebody, they really gotta either find a relationship that they think is good enough to say, okay, these people understand me and we know what we're about, so let's move forward. Or they're coming with a set of skills that they came here to perform and that they're going to sign off on. So as long as they do their job, you do your job, that everything is right. It's all down there on paper. And there shouldn't be any argument. I came here doing this, you came here doing that, and as long as you live up to the agreement, we shouldn't have any issues.
Wow. Yeah, look, if the world could be so perfect.
Yeah, right.
I'm seriously, wow. And you guys are maintaining this over like almost close to 10 years, doing it just like this. But it works for you. So what works for you is just like in a marriage, honestly, because that's a partnership too, right? People always talk about, oh, should you do this? And should they do that? What would you feel like if your partner did this or if they did that? And I say, if it works for you, just keep it pushing. Do what you have to do because it works for you. So guys, I think we got lost them real quick. Technology is something else, I swear. But while they're hopping back on, let me just think and see what we have, who we have in the room. Let's take a quick temperature check. Okay, Monifa, thank you for joining us. She said that is key. Having a relationship, right? Let's sigh. Exactly. Let me bring the guy back into the room. Exactly. Sometimes just having those relationships, it is insane. Fellas, thank you for hopping back on. We're actually just getting a temperature check and seeing who's in the room. Look like you have some folks on here. She said, this is so inspiring to those of us who are entrepreneurs. Amazing. So you guys' stories already touching people. Let's see who else we have. Ashley, thank you for joining us. She said, business partner goals. You guys have business partner goals. Awesome. Let me see who else we have. Yes, and Latoya said, you guys are young millionaires. Yes. That's all I hang around. No, I'm just kidding. But I am definitely taking notes. And I'm also very, very inspired. So we talked a lot about compromise, right? And essentially we're just saying it'll make me feel better if. So when I jump in and I talk to you guys and I say it'll just make me feel better if y'all just cut me one of those checks, we all in the same. No, but I'm super proud. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I was saying it takes a lot of years of sitting at the Thanksgiving table for that bond to happen, right?
Well, look, I like palm trees. I'm just saying it. Invite me to the table.
In all seriousness, if you ever want to come down, visit, and maybe do a formal interview, you're more than welcome to come down to Florida.
Y'all, everybody's on here heard that, right? You guys all heard that. I got invited, so I'm going. Let's do it. Yep. Isaiah Stewart said this is a huge inspiration. So yes, awesome. People are chiming in. So thank you guys for visiting and being on the podcast today. All right. So we got that down. So let's talk about calendars because. Like I said, you guys are running this huge business, massive amount of coordination to do all of these different businesses, different units, and we haven't even gotten into how you do half of what you do. And I know you're not going to give up all the juice because you guys are thinking about doing some more stuff with mentorship and really taking people, hand-holding them into some of how to do this. And so I don't want to steal that from you guys. But when it comes to calendars, how do you guys really manage? Because seriously, like when we talked last week, I think, Justin, you were in Utah and you were, oh my gosh, I don't know. You'll text me and say, yeah, I'm in DC for lunch. and then I'm going to New York, and then I'm going back to Boston. And see, I can't keep up with you. So I just want to know, real talk, how do you guys keep yourself synced as far as like getting together, meetings, and just handling business?
Well, I'm gonna start out with this. I have a very, very, very good team. Very good team behind me.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, like as I stated, my base is in Boston. I have a great set. I have a great business partner, first and foremost, and I have a great set of employees that hold things down, and it enables me to go out and do what I do, bring home the bacon, if that's what they call it, and keep me organized. Where you see me all these places, and even within the partnership with Justin, we did an Airbnb in Atlanta about 6 months ago.
Yep.
I was busy. I couldn't do. We set it up together, but there were some things to do afterwards, and he was just able to go out there and then handle it. And I think that's important.
Yes.
Partnership.
Yeah. And as far as like how I move, I've been moving for a little bit now, and there's no way I could do everything I do without my team as well. Like his brother works with me, and I don't know where I'd be without his brother. And then also I have an assistant that worked for me for 5 years. She has just the biggest workload as me, dealing with every business we do. We run 6 businesses together, and my assistant, like, I feel for her because I load just a whole bunch of workload on her plate and just hope and pray that she sorts it out and does a good job, and try not to be so hard on her because, you're right. When you're doing a lot of things, you got to do your best to stay organized or you're going to forget something major. So just to give you an example, if everything is not written down or somebody's not checking what you're doing, you could forget something like in Florida, we had to renew our business license every year. And if you miss the deadline, it's $400.
Major coinage. Yes.
Yeah. $400. In Atlanta, it's only $86. But something like that is like, hey, Sharice, did you renew the business license? It's like, yes, we did. And if she only renewed Atlanta and she didn't know I was talking about Palm Beach, it's $400 right there. It's done.
Wow.
If she doesn't renew some of our insurances, we have like 3 or 4 insurance plans. We get canceled. Once we get canceled, we don't get checks. Once we don't get checks, people don't get paid. Like, you gotta be on top of everything.
And
that's just daily stuff that you just gotta think about and hopefully stay organized. He stays a lot more organized than me. He has like a book and he has like everything. I always see him. I never.
He always has his iPad out, like getting it. Yes, I know. I study you guys. I know what you do. Yeah, I'm totally impressed, and it takes a lot to impress me. But a lot of stuff what you're saying is really important, and we actually have an entrepreneur on here from Florida, Yolanda. She said she'll definitely have to check you guys out, and I love what you guys are saying. Probably music to her ears as well, and all the entrepreneurs who are on the line, because it really does make sense. Like you said, those small little pieces that seem like so insignificant really truly are huge things. And like you said, it could just take forgetting one thing, one small element, which is really like impacting like a ripple effect all the way down the line. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you, Yolanda, for joining us. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Yolanda.
Monifa says, and she's from Charlotte, she said she needs a camera. I'll need a camera girl, so she'll be with me. So just let us know. We'll all be in Florida. We saw you on a boat, so I need to understand what all that is about too. So
no, you're talking about 50/50. That's the name of the boat. 50/50.
Oh, is that the name of your boat? 50/50.
Yeah, it works 50% of the time. Yeah.
Okay. I'm here for it though. Listen, because I'm gonna give you my 00. That's the name of my boat. You wanna know why? Well, that's obvious, but that's all right. Listen, I don't have to have all the things, but I have friends that have all the things, so that's all that matters, right? No, but I'm really excited, and I'm super happy. I think is your assistant's name Sharice?
Yeah. You talked to her?
Someone posted it. Yeah, they posted it here.
Sharice?
Awesome.
Sharice online. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Isaiah.
I gotta give a lot.
You guys' team is really popping for real.
Yeah, Isaiah too. Isaiah really holds the carpet cleaning company down. He's been doing it for 5-6 years now, and he pretty much runs it himself. And if like the carpet cleaning company is our backbone, that's where the money started. That's where the majority of the money comes from. And Isaiah is who kind of keeps that held down. If it wasn't for him, you know, I don't know if I can find a better, you know, partner to kind of team up with. And, you know, it's his brother, so it's all in the family anyway. So.
Oh wow, that's Sharice is actually on. Hey Sharice, how are you?
So Sharice,
all right, yes. Let me find out this team is coming through tonight. Yes, that's what I'm talking about, supporting your people. And so really that just solidifies the fact that, like you said, you have a huge team and they're supportive. And it looks like even though you guys are the cousins, that it's like a whole family, that all of you guys support each other and whatever you're doing. And I think that that is amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Like, you know, he'll call Sharice for some favors and Sharice, you know, helps him out. And you know, I really got to, you know, have you guys understand what, like, Sharice is like the other half of my success. Sharice is really the person that really holds me together because, you know, if it wasn't for Sharice, I think that a lot of things that I've done wouldn't have kind of went through the way they went through, because Sharice the one that reads all the paperwork. You know, she's the one that, you know, makes sure that I'm not getting in over my head. She checks all the accounts. She lets me know, like, hey, like, you know, I don't know if we should do this. She gives the business that woman's touch that I think every business needs. Like, Sharice isn't my wife or anything like that, but if I had a wife, she'd be saying that, like, wait a minute, you know, let's think about this.
Sharice,
you
hear this, girl?
Huh?
You hear this, Sharice? I just want to make sure Sharice is hearing all this, honey, because this is the type of stuff we want to hear. If I had a wife, this is who it would be.
Yeah. If I did have a wife, she'd be the one kind of making sure that the emotional side of me is checked. You know, making sure that hey, you know, you're always so go, but let's think about this. And she does make me think about it, even though I might think about it for 2 seconds and still do it anyway. She's the one that, you know, makes me like kind of
she really checks it. Yeah,
slow things down. And that's the point I want to make. I think that if there's any men on this podcast, make sure you run your ideas past a women. Always. Always run your ideas past a woman. Because,
listen, he said
because a woman has a way of looking at the world that men don't. They look at it from an emotional side of things, which is sometimes what you need. You know, sometimes we can be like, you know, all right, whatever. But he's like, wait a minute, you know, you got to think about it emotionally as well, you know?
Oh, yeah, I love it. Listen, he said it. He said it.
To touch on what Justin says, I 100% agree. I don't have a personal assistant. I'm a little too
you need one.
I know I do. All my friends say I do. There's something about control. I gotta work on that, giving up control.
But you're still very responsive. Like nobody knows you don't have that finesse on the back end, but you have it yourself. So I'm really over the top and excited for you guys. So yeah, listen, but Yolanda said yes. Run your ideas past the woman. Yes, so we are all in there. Yes. Let me see what else we said. She says she's she's your Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I'm in the triangle right now. Like seriously, I'm in Bermuda right now. This is too much. I'm gonna need y'all to have lunch this week.
Yeah.
No, but I appreciate you guys being super transparent. And the last thing that I really want to dig into, and then we can just like kind of get into some other stuff, is the coin, right? Because for real, you guys are truly embodying what this podcast is all about, and it's staying out your lane, because you have several different opportunities for income in your businesses.
Right.
And so and you touched on a little bit, Justin, you said that your main staple is the carpet cleaning company that you have. Now, because I know that you both have different companies and are also working together, partnership, not really, but kind of, sort of, how can I put this? How do you feel, or what do you feel is your number one source? And then how does that play into your partnership? And how do you guys, without being too specific, how do you guys work with money together? Like, how does that work? And how can you encourage people who are thinking about being in partnerships, like for real, with the paper? Like, we don't want them to do what y'all are doing right now, because you can't. So, look, y'all know I have a personality here, so y'all got to work with me. But yeah. I know that it's not so easy to do what you guys are doing. So let us know sort of like what your main staple of income is, and also how does that play between the two of you guys?
All right, so our situation is a little unique, and to help the audience, if the audience really wants an overview on partnerships, they can hit us up personally and we can answer some serious questions. But luckily, my business was successful and his business was successful enough that when we got in business with each other, The money that we started making with each other, we didn't need, you know? So we just kind of let it stack up or let it do what it wanted to do because we really need it. So it's really kind of hard to say that it was a rough road with this money because it just was extra money. You know, like it was money that went into an account that was just like, oh, what do you want? There was another thing that was great. One time I took the money for an investment to borrow. Oh, we got a plane flying by. Give us 1 second.
Okay.
So one time there was like, some money in the account that I took to put into an investment to make some more money off it. And I was like, yeah, go ahead, take it. So I take it, make some money off it, put it back. And then a couple weeks later, he did the same thing. Took the money, it's funny to us. It's kind of like a game because it's like, yeah, you can take it, but we got to the first to put it all back because that's when the money's going to start coming out. And that's, that's really it. So
that's awesome.
We're a bad example for people to be like, oh yeah, every partnership is great, it's perfect, and it works, and we have extra money. Right. I think the main value that your listeners can get out of us is that if your core values are, honest and straightforward and not so emotionless when it comes to having certain talks that need to be talked, then you guys can be successful in having a partnership as well. And a successful partnership is rare because those qualities are rare that you can come together. How many people that that are as straight up as you, as honest as you? It's just like almost nobody. So maybe you shouldn't get in partners with anybody. That's why I don't have partners. He don't have partners. Right. Then if it seems like it's gonna work, then let's see if it works. But
I would say if you want to do it, maybe not have it be your main income with the partnership.
That's big.
Yeah.
That big. So you're not relying so much on
that is big.
You do your thing, like have it be like a hobby and let's see if you can do something on the side together and make some money,
That's awesome.
That's a good way to start it.
And to piggyback off of what he said earlier, the key, I mean, it'll never happen. But, let's say you did me dirty, took all the money out of the account. You know what? Whatever. Whatever. My relationship means more to me, means more to the family than the money, the business. Yeah, there it is.
That is awesome. So let me just ask a question because, I don't want to assume that a lot of the people who are either watching now or will watch this, because a lot of people catch it afterwards. I don't want to assume that is necessarily the easiest way, but how do you, everybody's an entrepreneur, but how do you give a suggestion for people who are thinking about being partners as far as percentages of income generated to disperse amongst each other and to reinvest into the business? I mean, I know you guys do it a little atypically, but is there a suggestion that you could give for others who are looking to really partner up with some folks and do this? Because I want people to really leave here with some actionable to do. So when we get ready for that, I just want them to be able to reference some of these things that you're saying. And because you've been doing it successfully, whether it's official or not, you guys are killing it. And I just want them to get all of these nuggets while they can.
Yes. So what we do is we take all the bills that are due. All right. And from that, we see what's left over. And from whatever's left over, let's say all your bills for the investment is, let's say $3,000. All right. And let's say you're making $5,000, right? So that would leave $2,000 left over. What we would do is we would split the $2,000. Half of the $2,000 we get is profit, and the other half goes to savings and investments and future business.
Okay, so basically like 50% of whatever you actually net after you pay
we'll take 50% of what we net. Yeah. We'll pay 100% with the bills, and then we'll leave the other 50 for growth and miscellaneous stuff, because there's miscellaneous stuff that's always going to happen. Yeah. You might have a slow month. You might have a broken dishwasher. Right. You always want money in the account. You want to account for variable change all the time. I think that's what people don't understand. That's what people go under. They don't account for variable change. Like life is going to happen. Like for sure.
Look, life happens when you don't have a business, so you can imagine.
Exactly right.
For real.
Yeah. And when business life happens, it's twice as expensive. It is. So
wow. These are some really, really good nuggets, and I'm really excited. Again, let me see if we have any questions from those who are watching today. Let's also go back and check some more temperature. Let's see what people are saying. Sharice has some more good stuff today. She said, Justin is also a firm believer that if you help others, you will be successful. He is always helping others. And that's really pivotal. And I believe that's the same is true for Chris as well. They both really are helpful. Guys, we met like what? Last year, sometime end of the year.
Last November.
Months ago. Yeah. And I mean, we've kept in contact here and there. And even them just being on the podcast, I thought was amazing because, like I said, they have such hectic schedules and they're always all over the place. But they were like, come on, let's do this. And, I want to help them. We're going to work on some mentorship stuff, and we're going to work on some other things that I think are going to really be pivotal and impactful to a lot of the people that are watching and people that are going to watch this later. So let's get some questions. Let me just see. For those who are in the room, would you guys like to learn more about running and operating an Airbnb for yourself? If you are, just say yes. Put a yes in the comment box for us, because this is going to be really good stuff for them to be, able to kind of figure out what things you want to know about. And if you get a chance, just type in there sort of the things that you want to know about. So just let us know if there's, what is it? Isaiah said, Chris seems to be tailor-made to do business. It's like a hobby for him. That's awesome. Well, they already said they don't need the money. So, when I get down there, we can just straighten all that out. I got it for them. Don't worry about that. I got them.
Come on down.
That's when you're coming out. Listen. Yes, Yolanda said yes. And she's in Florida as well. Jordan, yes. People are saying yes, that they really want to hear from you guys. And I know we've had some conversation about this. And I know Justin is kind of like, yeah, I don't know. We have to figure out how we would present this. Only because, and I'm telling you, the integrity of these gentlemen is like, you just don't see it. Because their main thing is that when they do something like this, they want to make sure that you are getting quality information. That's number one. 2, actionable steps that you can actually replicate, because it is more than just, just go out here and get you an Airbnb and you just start making tons of money. I know it sounds simple, but I know it's not. That's the main thing. But people are saying yes. Lenny says, hey, Louise. She said, yes, people want to know about that. They want to know, what's the first step? How do you start? Can you tell people who may actually need that account, right? Even some who may not, but how do you actually start and say, okay, I have a couple extra dollars. I got that tax refund, or I got whatever extra cash coming in. How can I take this? And you let us know sort of what a starting budget could look like, and what maybe 3 steps would take you from nothing to something.
Okay, I would have to say, let me start this. All right, not to get too philosophical on that question, but get a mentor. That's the first thing. Don't do it without talking to somebody and have somebody that's done it to walk you through it.
Get me,
get Chris.
Yes, you guys are awesome.
Or anybody that that's doing it, get them first on the phone, because the first step, it varies. And what I mean it varies is like, money, great location, and what else would you say?
Money, great location, and you really need to know if you can do it there.
Yeah, and knowing if you can do it. Those 3 steps are simultaneous. Like, with not one, if you're missing one of those, you can't get started. Yeah. So I can't say the first step is money. I can't say the first step. It gotta be those 3.
Right.
Yeah. If you don't
okay, now take me back. Money, location, and knowing if you can actually do it in that place. Now, when you say that, I know what you guys mean by that, but can you elaborate so that people can understand exactly what you mean by if you can do it there? Because they may not really understand what that means.
So there, people have rented an apartment, maybe even bought a condo in a building where they don't allow subletting. And, they set everything up. They buy the furniture, sign the lease, put all this money into it. And then, things are going well. They set it up. They're making money. Next thing you know, you got to knock on the door saying, hey, you're Airbnb. You can't do this. We're terminating your lease. Yeah, well, I believe actually one of the ladies that were I met you at the seminar went through that.
And I went through that last week.
Did.
Yeah, he went through it last week.
Last week.
Last week.
You did tell me about that. So did you actually have to terminate it?
So we'll let you in on a little secret. Uh-oh.
Or do I need to call you after the call and get the 411?
Yeah, we'll let you in a little. One of the things you're going to learn, and one of the tips and tricks that you're going to learn when you start mentoring him, but my landlord called me up and said, don't do it anymore. Take it down, right? So I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, I got to float this $3,000, lease when I already got $6,000 into it, it's doing wonderful. What am I gonna do? The lady lives in Texas, and she's worried about her place getting, trashed or anything like that when it comes to Airbnb or any extra maintenance fees. And I know her place is in good hands because it's nothing but rich people that rent there.
Okay.
So, what I started to do is I started to just rent to family and friends that have just been in the area or coming down to visit. And so it's kind of like just me extending my home to people that I've already known. And then also we built a book from our Airbnb. So people that's rented before, they come back and they treat it just like it's your place. And that's one thing that we've done. But I don't.
Did that make a difference? Did that make a difference for the landlord? Did that make a difference?
Well, see, the thing is that I'm still doing it, even though she's told me to stop. But I'm not Airbnb-ing it at this point. It's not on Airbnb.
Yeah.
I'm actually just letting my friends in there. So right now, my cousin's wife's cousin is staying there for the week, and she gave me $1,000. But technically, it's not an Airbnb. Now, this is the thing.
Okay.
I don't recommend people being dishonest and trying to get over on your landlord or this, that, and the other. But one second, we got a plane going through.
Okay.
But I was put in a position to where it's just like, okay, my landlord's either going to terminate the lease or I'm going to have to kind of set up, like close up shop and figure out a way out of this mess. And so far, what I've been doing is renting to friends and family, but only because I've kept a good book. I've kept people that have been like, hey, I got their number when they Airbnb'd and said, hey, I got a place. If you want it for a week, I'll give you a discount. Just to cover it till I figure out what I want to do. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to find a friend of mine or a family member of mine or somebody that's close to me and say, hey, you can have this lease for 6 months or the rest of it, and you can keep it. And then I just charge them what I get, just so I don't lose.
So you don't lose anything. Yeah. That makes sense. And the thing what I'm getting from this is that you have to really be nimble in this business. And sometimes everything is not so static where, if it doesn't go exactly to plan, then it's like you just scrap it. Sometimes you have to kind of make things happen. Like you said, not being dishonest, but just kind of pulling things together. So that makes sense. We actually have 2 questions. Go ahead.
And be ready to take a big hit if it doesn't work.
Be ready to take a hit. But that's business, right? It's risk in any and everything. So I can imagine. Let me see. We actually have a quick question. Isaiah wants to know, what's the biggest challenge with maintaining so many units? So Chris, this is probably a good question for you specifically, even though you both work together.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest task is quality control. Okay. That's my biggest pain is maintaining quality units, making sure that they're clean, making sure that the check-in process is flawless, comfortable. And I think, like I said, it just goes back to having that team. I can't talk enough about my team and what they do day in and day out, 7 days a week. 7 days a week, it's nonstop.
Yeah, you guys are really killing it. Yeah.
Nonstop. So, quality control, I'd say, Isaiah.
Well, you know what? And I want to expand on that just a little bit because we've had some conversations about Airbnbs. And one of the things that I was really impressed to know from you guys about this is that a lot of what you do is sort of hands off. Yes, it does still need that touch to make sure that people are happy, satisfied, and you're doing good customer service. But a lot of what you told me is that some of this stuff you've gotten to a point where it is just flipping over and over, and you guys are doing a lot of it remotely. That may be really encouraging to some people who are thinking about doing this Airbnb either part-time or full-time or even just getting into it.
Yeah, 100%. I'm able, so the majority of mine are in Boston. Then I'm able to branch out. And I'd have to say that I was taught a long time ago that as an owner and manager, you're best to manage and own hands off. So if I keep going back to this team, if you train and you set your team up, it should run like a well-oiled machine. It's gonna go, and then it'll flourish. Justin can attest to that too. It's hard to. I say that it's hard to have a company grow when you're right on top of it. Micromanaging every second, every day. There's no room for growth there.
That's huge.
I think stepping away, you actually are able to really see the growth and allow it to grow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because good. You know, being the company almost being like a newborn baby, you want to kind of just take care of it all the time.
Yeah,
but until you're able to step away and let the baby walk on its own, it's not going to learn how to walk. You know,
that's true. Wow,
and it's going to go through growing. You're going to go through growing pains. The business is going to go through. You're going to lose money. You know, I remember when I first started. The hardest thing was for me was to let Sharice do the invoicing, and I was like, and the reason being is because if she messes up on one invoice, we're toast.
Yeah,
you know, so. Eventually, I let her do it. She messed up a couple times. She messed up for a couple years before we
don't put her business out here in the streets. Don't do that.
But the thing is it's important to do that, and because now is what she does. She's good at it, and I can sleep easy knowing that somebody's gonna be able to take care of those invoices like they need to be.
See, Sharice, I was looking out for you, girl. He's trying to put all your business in the street.
Let's take this inside. Hey, we're gonna. It's a little. Yeah, grab the table. We're gonna take this inside because it's windy, and I want to make sure you guys can hear us right. So give me 2 seconds.
Okay, no, that sounds good. While you're doing that, I'm going to actually post another question. Lenny's has a question, and he says, "Where do each of you see yourself in business 5 years from now?" And that actually ties into another question that we got, and I'll post that one as well. It says, "Do you think that Airbnb will stand the test of time? And do you think that you'll branch out to other different types of real estate investments? Because you guys already have other businesses, but do you think you'll branch out to other types of real estate specifically?"
Give me 1 second. Let me just grab our chairs, all right?
Okay.
1 second.
This is awesome. Thank you guys who are on and watching and asking questions. This is really, really huge. Okay, yep. Yolanda, hopefully we answered your question, Yolanda, about what's the first step and how do you start? I think they kind of gave us a background on that. So thank you so much for asking questions. I really appreciate it. And you'll be able to get mentored by these guys too. They have mentorship. So at the end, we'll also post, and I'll probably have to post it after we get off on our website, which I want to make sure that you guys are following us on Instagram and Facebook right here at Stay Out Your Lane Podcast. It's the same on both Instagram and Facebook. So let me just share that. And if you would, please share this Facebook Live. That would really be helpful to me if you guys would share this Facebook Live. And let me see. And if you are looking for how to reach Justin and Chris afterwards, you can visit our website, which is www.stayOutYourLane.com. All right, so I think the guys are back, and so we're going to get them to answer our question, and I'll repeat it really quickly. Basically, they want to know, do you think the Airbnb is going to stand the test of time? That's one. And two, where do you guys see yourself in the next few years? Would you be getting into some other real estate investments specifically, or like how do you think you'll tell your business?
Well, I was one of the first to start doing the Airbnb. It's a unique story, but to say
we love stories. Tell us.
I know. So that's the art of this.
The abridged version.
Yeah. Well, I basically started with the cleaning company. You know, I started cleaning people's houses, started getting to know owners, meeting some people. Was introduced to this thing called Airbnb, which was actually not the first company to do it. HomeAway was actually first. I think the same like Uber and Lyft. I think Lyft was before Uber, but Airbnb packaged it better and in a mass. So I started there. I got my first one. I met this lady that was into it. She let me know about it. I started growing with her, and here we are to 70. I think we're at 76 today.
Wow.
So you think it's gonna stand? Awesome. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Who knows,
I think it's gonna stand the test of time.
Yeah.
For the simple reason that it's easy to do, and the only thing that I guess wouldn't stand the test of time is the business behind it. Like if you're asking me, do you think you can always make money off it? No. I don't think it's something that you're going to always be able to easily make money off of the way it is now, because there's going to be either big companies or big corporations that are going to monopolize it and make it hard for you to do it like you used to. Nothing that's you can make money now that's pretty easy is going to last like that.
Right.
It just doesn't. It's not how it is. Some big giant is going to take it over and
make it difficult. Yeah.
And make it difficult because they have more money, more research. They've been doing it longer. It's gonna be hard for you to get into it.
That giant may even be the government. I run into a lot of red tape within just in Boston. They're sick and tired of it. The hotels
they
hotels have politicians in their pockets, and they're going hard at trying to shut things down with zoning and things like that. But
I've heard a lot about that with Airbnb in general.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned the lady that we had on last week was saying that out in Richmond, it's like started to thrive. Like they've, sort of pulled into it and say, yes. So, I probably need to connect you guys after this, and I'll make sure that I do that. But yeah, I think that's one of the key things. And it goes back to the three fundamental components that you said that you need to have. Like you said, you have to have money, you have to have the right location, and you also have to be able to do it. And when they mention that you have to be able to do it, that's exactly what it is that they mean. You have to be able to ensure that you're in a place where it's zoned and that you can actually do that. So yeah, all of those things together really, really make a big deal. And so I'm just to add to that, I really feel like with any particular trend, like you said, whether it's Lyft, it's Uber, Turo, whatever, you have to sort of get in when the getting is good, right?
Right.
You make your money. Don't get mad about it. You do your thing, you make your money, stack it, and then when the next thing comes, like you said, you still have a whole foundational other business that's need-based. People need cleaning services. Like that's just what they need. I mean, y'all can come to my house whenever, because
it's funny. I hardly even do any new clients or cleaning. The business has morphed into this Airbnb management and acquisition company.
So your other clients you had, you just keep those?
As long, the ones that pay, but I don't. There's no.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I mean, like you said, someone even asked a question, like sort of how do you, we talked about that. How do you manage so many different units? And I can imagine at some point, things just naturally take over based on, where you are, what you have going on, and how you can like continue to sustain that. So yeah, no, I'm just like so amazing, so proud of you guys. What I'm hoping you guys will do, because I know you want to get into mentorship, and there are people on here that definitely want to be mentored by you. And I think also what we talked about as far as setting up a class or something, and we may even be able to, if you guys are open to it, to do some of that on this podcast. Because, I mean, it's just because we meet one day a week doesn't mean that we can't have some coursework and some other things set up. And we can talk about that, at another time. But you guys are just a wealth of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You're a wealth of knowledge. And I'm really, really proud to see two brothers who are really killing it out here and are traveling and are building teams and are really pulling this whole thing together and let us know it's possible, right? So I want to really quickly jump into an actionable to do for those who are watching and those who will watch on the replay. Because of what Justin and Chris have shared with us, we talked last week about having mentors, right? And so it's just only fitting that they're reinforcing what we've already said last week about mentorship. But also this week, one of the things that I want you guys to do, if you take out your same notebook that we've been working with every week, is just to sit down and see what type of income you can save in a reasonable amount of time, even between now and the end of the year, so that you can take advantage of some of these things. Because when they put you on, he already told you got to have your money straight, right? So 100%. If you have your money already, you're constantly building. I want you to just look at the things that you're doing. Where can you save money? Where can you kind of peel back and push some things to the side so that you can really save up and stack the way that you need to and want to? In general, is there a number that folks should be targeting? Because I know you're in Boston, so some of these different ranges, depending on where people are, may be different. But in your mind, if you said, hey, if you had 10 grand, you could start an Airbnb, or if you had 15 grand or 5 grand, like I don't know, I don't have an Airbnb. But can you give people like a milestone just to look forward to so that they can say, okay, if I had 5 grand, I could typically open up my first Airbnb, or if I had 10 grand. And what does that look like when you open up your very first? What are the expenses, or what are some of the things? I know we've talked about it before, but just to share with them, because I know some of them you have to like actually put everything in it, right? It's just like if you're moving into a home.
Yeah, I mean, just to drop some more gems, when I'm looking to acquire now, I'm looking for furnished apartments.
Okay.
Apartments that are already furnished. Typically, those landlords are a little desperate about that, I find. Okay. But you save, you can negotiate. It gives you room to negotiate.
Okay.
And you're walking into a unit that's furnished, ready to go. You're just putting in your first, last, and security depending on your location, and then your utilities, cable, stuff like that. You're ready to go. But it really does depend on location. Boston is one of the most expensive places. Same like where you are too, DC.
Yes.
What was it? April. I did a unit right in the city, and that's one of the most expensive. It costs about $12,000 total.
Okay.
Between first, last, and furniture, it's a really nice location in the city. But just the one that you did out here didn't run you too bad, right?
Nah, well, it was
like
six. It was
6.
You got
Atlanta was cheap.
You got to figure rule of thumb: first, last, security, and $5,000 to furnish.
Okay.
Rule of thumb. That's what I would do. Now you could probably furnish. You might be able to, if you know some people, if you're frugal, you get on Let Go, you go to some yard sales, you can probably furnish it for less than that. You can maybe furnish it for $2,000. But figure first, last, security, and then $3,000 or so to furnish it, and make sure that you realize the small things: forks, spoons, toilet paper holder, placemats, air fresheners, like things that you would never think of coming into an empty house. Bachelor.
Yeah, I don't even think about that kind of stuff until you get there, and then it's like, what? How am I supposed to eat my takeout? Whatever.
Yeah. Coffee maker. There's things that you don't want to be caught without them.
All right, Sharice, they pulling the list together for you, homegirl, because clearly they're going to need that lady's touch. But listen, fellas, I am so excited. When you guys get ready to start your mentorship program, you have to let Stay Out Your Lane podcast know first, because we're going to have you guys back on so that we can make sure that everybody's up to speed and that they can get your mentorship and everything like that. And again, I just want to thank you all as we close. We have one last question, and then we'll close out. But I just want to say thank you again, because this is amazing. What part of Florida are you guys in right now?
West Palm Beach, South Florida,
gosh,
West Palm Beach.
So excited! Yeah, I'm gonna be in Miami tomorrow, so I'm ready. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Come.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, I'll talk to you guys after we get offline. But let me give you guys this last question, and thank you again, everybody. I really appreciate the questions. Lenny says, what other businesses do you run? I think we talked a little bit about some of that, but I'll let you guys just literally go through and list the companies that you have. And how do you juggle so many different requirements of each?
Well, he has way more than I do. He can live. This guy is busy every week.
Yeah, I say.
I know.
We do credit repair. We do pet pharmaceuticals online. We do carpet cleaning, of course, restoration, trucking now, government contracting, where we bid on government contracts. That's something we're getting our feet wet with.
Wow.
And that's about all I can think of right now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, you stepped all in my lane, because you know about your look. I'm always so quiet about it, but I'm a pharmacist by trade, and so
really?
Pharmaceutical. Yeah. So that's really interesting.
And to answer her second part of her question, the requirements, it's like I said, it's not easy. I don't recommend people just jump into all these businesses. I'm somebody that doesn't like to stand still.
Yeah, I get on him about this all the time.
Yeah, I like to stand still, but it's not a life that I recommend for people. You gotta have a lot of high energy. The other thing too, you gotta be balanced. Like if you don't go to the gym, you don't eat right, you don't have the right people in your life, you don't have the right energy in your life, you're not gonna be able to juggle so many things, because your energy is going to come from your positive people in your life. It's going to come from good food, working out, because it's a high level every.
Just to
give you an example, and I don't think I've ever showed anybody this, but if you can see, I don't know if you can see this. I think I have to adjust.
You have to get super close, I think.
You know what I got to do? Yeah, I'm going to show you guys, because I think this is going to give a real good insight on what it does. How about this? Can you guys see that?
A little bit better.
Okay, now check this out. Right. So if you look at the phone, all right, I'm gonna go with this one right here. Can you see the phone?
Okay.
Can you see the numbers?
A little bit better. Yes.
You can't really see the numbers on it. But if you can see the numbers on the phone, it's a phone call every 2 to 3 minutes all day long.
Oh, wow.
All day long. So it goes 10:59, 10:50, 10:53, 10 o'clock, 10:04, 10:06, 10:13, 10:13, 10:14, 10:17, all the way till 5 o'clock. Now, who has the energy to be on their phone like that? You know, it really requires you have your life in and balance, and you're doing something you like to do. Because if not, it's gonna swallow you whole, and you're not gonna have time for anything. And and everything that you do is gonna, get you upset, and it's just not gonna work. You gotta love what you do. You gotta love the people around you, and you gotta really kind of have a good balance with yourself. I think that's really big and really important, because I know just one job for people can get them stressed.
Listen. Yes. Even look, before this, I was like ironing clothes for my kids. I was running around, had so many different things to do. And I still had to turn around and be, on a podcast. And last night I did a class for, my authors, for those who are working to be authors with me. So it's like, it never stops. But like you said, if you really love what you do, except if you have a job that you quote unquote love, then it's not really a job. It's just something that you enjoy. So yeah, Isaiah said that was a great answer. So yeah, I think that they definitely got the value from your responses. So thank you again, because you probably missed about 75 calls since you've been on the phone.
Well, I told everybody I'm getting on a podcast and to join in and such.
And they did.
And just to make a point where you were saying at your job, like if you had a job and let's say you were getting underpaid and your phone rang every 3 minutes and from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m, it's not something that you would do. You don't get paid enough to do it. And so when you're aligned, it works. And like this podcast, like it's something you love to do. You don't gotta get paid to do it. It looks like you're having fun. And it looks like you want to do it. It just works for you. And one thing that I want to do, and we want to thank you for having us on here.
Absolutely, 100%.
I feel like you're an inspiration to us because you do what we're trying to do. Like if we had the time, help people out and talk to them and spread the love and show people how and what to do things. Like I love doing stuff like that. And you're actually, I look up to people like you that actually find the platform and take the time to actually do it.
And do it well.
Do it well, yeah.
Thank you. I'm all the way impressed. Look, y'all can show me some real love when I get down to Florida. Listen, I can hang out with you guys. No, I really am impressed. And I want to say hi to my friend. She's always super supportive. Like you said, having people that are supportive. A lot of my friends are here and are supportive. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it. She has her own podcast as well. So I'm always so excited to have, my folks on and have you guys on. So yeah, I just want to say thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. The mentorship program is going to be amazing. I'm going to be all up in there with you guys. And like I said, we're going to figure out some ways that we can really make this, because I think I'm going to do a Stay Out Your Lane live next year. And I'm going to try to bring a lot of the folks that we've interviewed together in one space so that we can really impact it, because there's some people that you're going to speak to more specifically than other people, right? Some people really want to know about Airbnb. They want to know about having multiple businesses, pet pharmacy, like all the stuff that you guys are doing. And so we want to be able to get them to you. So I'm thinking about that. Just keep it in the back of your mind. So when you see 175 calls coming, it's going to be one of them. It's going to be mine.
All right, cool. And one thing that I want to give to you is, if you want to, kind of get some more listeners, that I'll give 3 guests on your show if they want to drop a comment or subscribe. I'll give them a week worth of mentorship, for free. They just want to call me up. They want to figure something out. I'll give 3 people a week's worth of my time. As far as just give me a call if you have any questions, I'll make myself available as much as I can for 3 of your listeners.
That is huge. Oh, Sharice, what did you say? Hold on. First of all, thank you. I think that is like so huge. This just like caught me all the way off guard. I know Chris is going to be there too, because every time I turn around, he's eating something and he's putting it on Instagram. So he says, "Hey, Justin, cook for you when we get there." Yes. You hear this, Justin? I'm here for all of that.
Yeah, Sharice is volunteer. Yeah, I like cook.
Yes. I love that. Yeah, because we saw a picture of you in your apron. So I guess the next company you're going to have is you're going to have cookware, you and Aisha Curry. Word up. I'm here for it. Come on, let's do it. Listen, guys, it has been my pleasure. I'm so excited. I'm glad I'm going to get to see you guys in tomorrow, maybe. Who knows, this weekend. But just to have you guys on, taking your precious time, and also for you to dedicate a whole week worth of mentorship to one of our viewers. So if you guys are interested in getting a mentorship, be sure that you go to our website, stayoutyourlane.com. Not stay in your lane, stayoutyourlane.com, and send us a message, and so that we can make sure that we link up one lucky listener with Justin, because as you know, he's already busy. And maybe I can see if I can talk Chris into also doing the same or doing something for you guys. So again, stay out your lane and do what? command your life's highway. Take care, guys.